So I think that my calling, the reason why God put me here, I think is to help people and not just, I know that's a general statement, but I think I was here to help the kids of our youth, the young kids that are around us. I think that there isn't really a lot of, I mean, there is people that are there for the younger kids, but I think kids go through a lot of things that they don't understand. And that's kind of how I was growing up. I grew up in a broken family and bouncing from house to house and things like that. So I think that God put me here to be able to help our kids and the people that are younger than us so that they can have a better life. I think I didn't have an awful life, but I had it pretty hard, I think. And I think that I can, and my calling is to help people that are like me, that grew up like me. And I think that it would be really beneficial to them, and I think that's why I've studied psychology and things like that, and I'm going to go more towards like teaching the younger kids like in elementary school or middle school. I think that's really a vital time in a kid's life, is their elementary and middle school days. That kind of shapes who you are and what you're trying to become. I know they're still young at that age and everything like that, but I think that that's a very vital time. So I think God kind of put me at Dallas Christian because, like I said, I came to Dallas Christian my sophomore year. I started my freshman year at a different school, and I think that God brought me here for a reason. I had a lot of roadblocks when I came to Dallas Christian. I was having a hard time and I was trying to find myself and find myself in the Lord, and I think that God has really put me on a path to help people, especially kids. I think that some of the verses that have kind of contributed to my understanding about my calling from God is John 15:12. It says, "My command is this, love each other as I loved you." I think that that is very, very important because especially for kids, when you're at that age in the middle school, elementary school, you're kind of learning like, you know, who you are and kind of what you feel and what you believe and things like that. So I think that especially with kids, you know, they can get like out of control and kind of, you know, annoying and things like that. But I think that we need to bring the same love that the Lord gives us to these children, because this is going to shape who they are when they grow up. And so I think that that is something that's really important. I think another one is Hebrews 6:10, which is, "God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continued to help them." I think that is one of the most important ones that I cannot say enough, because I think that I've been in roadblocks and things in my life where I'm like, oh my gosh, I should just give up. I don't think I can do this. And it's really because when I came to Dallas Christian, I was my sophomore year. I was a traditional student, and then things kind of happened and I had to move and things like that, and I moved to Houston. Well, that was just one step where, I mean, the easy thing would have been like, I quit. I'm not going to school anymore. I'm just going to figure it out. And I kind of hurdled over that barricade that was in my mind, like, you know, the easy way is just to quit, don't do it. But I really, really wanted to finish something and do something for myself. This is something that I really wanted to do for myself, not only so that in the end I will be able to help other people, but this is something that I kind of did to help myself. So those are like the most important Bible verses I think that have kind of contributed to my calling from the Lord. I think my next steps are going to be, I've been kind of on the border because I'm graduate in May, and that's like really soon. But I think that my next steps are going to be to either get my counseling certificate or my teaching certificate so that I can get into the classroom as soon as possible, so that I can help kids and give them the knowledge that I have as soon as possible. Because, I mean, we're losing time every single day, and kids keep going into the next grade and the next grade just like we do. So I think that my next steps are to get my counseling or my teaching certificate. I haven't quite decided yet, but then I want to find a school down here. I live in Southeast Texas, so I want to find a school down here that is a Christian-based school, maybe like a private school or something, so that I can kind of share my Christian experiences as well as my experiences from my life and what I've kind of been through. Like I said before, I think it can be really beneficial, and I think all of our stories can be really beneficial to the right people, and I think that my story is going to be really beneficial to children and kids that are, you know, like I said, in the elementary school, middle school age, where you're about to go into high school or you're about to go into middle school. It's a rough world out there, and kids go through a lot of things that they don't really let other people know about. So I really truly feel that God has put me at Dallas Christian, has put me at this time and place in my life so that I could help the youth. I really, really believe that, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get what I need to get so that I can start helping these kids, because growing up, they always say it's a breeze, but it's really not as easy as people think, especially when kids are going through really hard things that they can't control. So I really feel like my calling is to help our youth and to help them kind of get through their hard times and just let them know that there's going to be somebody that's there for them. I know I can't help every single person in the world, but I've always said to Dr. Neil especially that if I can change one little kid's life, everything that I have done will be worth it. So that's kind of what I think my calling is. Thanks for listening, and thanks.